Good morning, everybody. My name is Bobbie Richardson. I am a channeler, a seer, and today I'm going to be doing an energy reading update with the tarot. I am actually a channeler, but I use tarot for fun. And then we will do some free Chatbar readings after this general reading. So, yeah, let's just go straight into this one, I reckon. Usually I have a little chat before, but I'm feeling to go straight into it and see what the cards have to say for today. Yeah, so there is a lot going on at the moment. There's this tightness, like a feeling or a higher vibrational meet where we're starting to get closer and closer to the point of understanding who we are at the core of ourselves. And when we do that, everything seems to vibrate even more. Those things that are out of balance seem even more out of balance. Like it's really highlighting the out of balance. And this is purely so that we can really see who we are, that we are just love going on this journey, and that we don't have to keep feeding into the program of fear, which is only holding up another vibration of fear outside of ourselves, of the person that's actually being the perpetrator. They're coming from fear themselves. And so when they come from fear and lack of control and lack of feeling that they're not good enough and that they have to have someone underneath them to control, they've lost themselves, they project it onto us, we're feeling vulnerable, we lose ourselves, and so forth. And it keeps going on like this within family dynamics, within personal dynamics within ourselves, within the bigger scope of humanity as well. And it's like a huge tightness and vibrational pull that's really shaking us to the core in a way that's highlighting those things that are out of balance within us, and that where we've given our power away to another, when really in the truth of the matter is that we're all just the same source energy going on a journey through love. Hey, Snizana, Jules, good to see you here, Emmy. Haven't even pulled any cards, but I'm really feeling that at the moment. So just be aware that when something comes up and you're like, far out, how much do I have to deal with this? Why do we have to keep going over the same crap? We're learning to deal with that same crap differently. We're learning how to deal with it differently. We're learning to release it quicker. And where we have gone wrong from ourselves, from our own point of view, instead of pointing outside of ourselves and saying it's all their fault, seeing where we have to take responsibility for the energy that and the vibrational meat of that is not conducive to us having a life that we really desire. Okay, so hey, free speech, good to see you. Okay, let's get into this though and see what cards fall. See, I seem to be catching the cards because they're giving me information anyways. Okay, here we go. We have healing in reverse. Just what I was talking about really too, isn't it? Okay. So we have healing in reverse that's come up first. Okay, so what I'm getting from this is, and what they're telling me is that before we would heal, to learn to heal again, to bring in the same problems, to heal again, to keep, we end up even creating a job out of healing. But the true essence of healing is that you've learned how to deal with frequencies and vibrations that are difficult in a simpler manner of understanding where you've given your power away. It's a true essence of healing. It's an understanding that the healing is something that is not finite. It's something that can be stopped. It's something that we can say no to. We don't, we've got to a point where we're learnt how to heal in the moment, because the next card that came up was moment to moment. We've learnt how to heal in the moment. And when we do that, we're living it. It doesn't mean that things don't come up. It means that we let go very quickly. And it's the letting go very quickly that means that the healing is come to a point where we don't need the ongoing treatment, because we've taught ourselves. So bringing me to the fact that, like, I never went to schooling. I never had any schooling whatsoever, yet I've taught myself how to use programs, Photoshop, freehand, a whole heap of different graphic art programs, because it was what I really wanted to do. But when I taught myself, because I taught myself, and I didn't have anybody outside me telling me I had to do it their way or anything, I can then pick up any program now, any program, and learn and teach myself how to do that, which I've just did yesterday. And so that's the same within our healing. We're learning to live in the moment more and more. And when we're out of the moment, we really will see that big time coming up. And that travel card came upside down as well, which to me is an inner journey of acceptance, because it's not traveling outside of ourselves to try to find a better environment. It's understanding that within us is the better environment first, and then the outside will reflect that. And so we're living a healed life through living in the moment, taking one step at a time, and understanding that our vibrational meet will always meet outside ourselves after we have done that, lived in the moment, kept living in the moment, as we go, as we've healed in the moment. Sorry, I'm getting confused. Sometimes they give me a message on top of a message while I'm still speaking, and I get a little flustered, so sorry about that. But we'll see what else comes up. Hey, Lucy, blessings to you too. Margaret, good to see you. Thank you about the new home. My home is absolutely freaking gorgeous. Dream come true. I have literally manifested my dreams come true, and it's only been through the help of my guides and having to help showing me the path of self-support and so forth. Not to say that I don't have my own bumps. I do, but I'm learning to stay more present, and that means that things are coming as presents. Isn't it nice? Okay, so let's keep going with this. See what else comes up. One card fall out on its side. Let's get another pack of cards too. New vision. So we have the dream. The dream came up on its side. And then we have the new vision, which was literally standing up on my suitcase. So it's really standing out for me, the new vision coming for us. So in the past, we would dream up an illusional, this is how I want my life to be. but we would look outside ourselves for that dream to come true. We would constantly keep it in the ether. We wouldn't ground it. We would never feel, look how she's hunched over, never feel like we are worthy of the dream, so it stays in the ether, that sort of thing. And then the new visions come up with understanding. Look how vulnerable he is. He's naked, he's vulnerable, he's stretched out. He's understanding the power of himself, that nothing can get him when he feels and has a fuller understanding of who he is and how much he has to support himself. Where I did a small post on Facebook where it was talking about looking outside yourself. If you keep on looking outside yourself for something to save you, you are going the wrong way. This is a journey, an inner journey, an inner understanding of ourselves, taking back the reins to our life, seeing where we're vulnerable, seeing where we're strong, seeing where how our outside reality does reflect our inner compass, our inner understanding of who we are. This is the lesson of humanity at the moment, to bring us back into our original truth, our original power, that nobody has any rights to be more powerful than who you are. No one is more powerful than who you are, because it just isn't. It's only our minds and the concept of someone being more powerful that creates that powerful illusion outside of ourselves. What else are we going to take today? Just feeling into the cards. I'll do a couple of tarots as well. And then we will get into free Chatbar reading soon too, just after this. Good to join the live session, Rebecca. Good to see you here. So we have the sun in reverse coming up. So really understanding where our power is. So the sun to me is a powerful card. It is positivity. It is everything coming towards us that gives us that, oh my God, I love and know who I am, and wow, I'm just amazing. And that sort of optimism. When it's in reverse, we can see through the lack of ourselves where we have denied the power that we are true in ourselves. And so we can then, when we start to see the lack, it's very much like when we see the lack within ourselves, we know how powerful we are. They're showing me an example of an ice skater. An ice skater can only ice skate as fast as they can stop. They can't skate any faster than what they could stop, because otherwise they'll crash. So we need to see within ourselves our own lack, and this energy that's really squeezing us at the moment is it's almost like a sponge squeezing out all the but there's this tension that we go through to feel where that is. And it's going to keep happening like this for a wee while. It will be on an individual base of our own selves when we come to realize that we no longer have to play the role of the victim anymore. And that's not just in a personal life, it's also within the community as well. Because when you take your power back, you'll start to bring in more people that are conducive to the power that you've accepted within yourself. And so you end up having a better community come up as well. Let's see what the angels have to say. Morning, Michelle. Those that say morning, I'm sure you guys are from... Oh, okay. Malcolm's from Yorkshire, England. If anyone does say morning on this, I think straight away they must be from Australia and down under, New Zealand. So I was born in New Zealand. And I moved to Australia after. That was following my guide's advice as well. Big shift for me, that was. Okay, here we go. It's funny, because I've made those big shifts, it's easier for me to make other big shifts as well, because you realize you can still pick yourself up even after some big, huge change. Okay, here we go. I think that's why I was put through so many changes in my life. I feel like I've lived about 20 lives in this one life. The angels are not coming up with anything. Okay, and then everything wants to fall at once. Okay, we have divine guidance coming in. So you're not alone. You're not alone in this whole moment. Like there are those and other frequencies that are constantly observing us, and when we say we need help, we will bring in the energy that helps guide us to it. It does all come from you in the end, absolutely, but there's many other realities that are prepared and living a life of the bliss that we are reaching, or we're wanting to reach within our own, and grounded on earth, so that we can live at least majority of the time in that peace, knowing that when something does come at us, we can let go of it and get over it very quickly. They're in those higher frequencies, ready to gift you when you ask, but you need to ask for the guidance, because you are you're sending out a vibrational meet to have the truth, or to have the healing, or to have the explanation given back to you. So even when I went on a big journey myself, I was seeing a lot of visions. They would just keep pelting. Like, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and they're just one thing after another, and I mean, seeing with my own eyes, and I just like, stop, I can't do this anymore. I had to take the reins to my own reality. And they asked me, the first thing they said, if you're going to take the reins to your own reality, you need to ask questions. You need to ask. So it is within the questions and the curiosities that drive us forward. Humans are curious creatures, because we know that this isn't our end final point. We know this reality isn't our final point. And so our curiosity moves us through life. And it's one of our better advantages, because then we do start asking the right questions to get the right answers. And we start to trust those answers that are coming through. And that's why we always you can start with, I want to see the same thing 3 times at least in different ways, like the same answer, and 3 times in different ways, but each time let it go, that sort of thing. And this is the divine guidance that we're getting outside of ourselves from higher vibrational meet. I'll see what else these cards have to say as well. Well, most people are from the other side of the world. Must be nighttime for you guys. Isn't it interesting that our reality is like that? I often think to myself, when I sleep and I don't remember the dream, have I lived another life on the other side of the world? That's an interesting thought. Anyway, let's see what cards have to say the energy today. Here we go. So we have talent guides, spirit mentors and teachers. Look at that. Divine guidance, talent guides, spirit mentors and teachers. That's backwards for you. Sorry about that. Isn't that cool? We are being guided through this energy. Every time we have a thought that's not conducive to where we want to go, we ask for help. If you can't get rid of it, if it keeps replaying over and over in your head, ask, how do I bring my power back to me? How can I bring my power back to me? And they are there to help guide you and have a fuller understanding of where you gave your power away in the first place, for you to give that mind trap for you to keep reliving the same problem over and over again. And next to that one was ancestors. It says historical connections and purposes. So ancestors. 28 sticking out for me too, which adds up to 10. And it's a union of abundance. So historical connections and purpose. When we start to open up to our intuition and having a fuller awareness that we are more than our mind, we do allow these guides to have some sort of say in. There's going to have to be a trust between that happening, where the mind will keep saying, hey, hang on a sec, which is not a bad thing. Hang on a sec. Is this for real, or is this just me egotistically making this up for me to have what I think I desire, and yet it's not taking me to the right place? Or is this true essence of a message coming through? So which one do we believe in? And they're saying that whenever it feels, it's interesting, if it's feeling really good from your heart, it's usually from your intuition. If it's feeling negative and fearful and scared, it's usually from your mind. You could there's also a grounding that has to happen as well. They're telling me, like, you can't just whimsically say, I want blah, 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 blah. I want to see a pig flying, and that's my sign. There has to be a grounding understanding from the logical mind, because it's already programmed in this reality, to have an acceptance for it to ground. So we wouldn't go off and ask for a sign that is to do with something that the logical mind cannot accept, because you're asking for something to, it's not to say that pigs can't fly in another frequency or in another dimension or whatever, but we're learning how to ground our desires in this reality. So our logic has to comprehend at least where we're going to. So that's the grounding. And then the imagination is something that we can say, yes, that can be grounded. So we filter it through our logic. We go, yes, that can be grounded. And yes, I look for signs of white feathers falling on my nose, or, I actually asked to see silver cats, and I saw silver ornaments of cats everywhere, that sort of thing. It was getting to the point where I was making it become more and more obscured, so that I can even realize even more and more that I am creating my own reality. So I started off with the free parking kind of thing. And then I went into finding 5-cent pieces. And then I went into, I want to see something even more obscure, but only something still that my logical mind could accept. If you jump too far ahead, then you're already convincing yourself it's never going to happen. And so you don't create the reality, or realize that you're creating the reality you want. So the logic has to have an agreement in some ways of what your intuition or your imagination is bringing through. So that might help you guys. Okay. I'll just pick one more card, and then we'll get into some free readings. So, what card am I going to choose? These ones calling out. Let's see what else is. Energies at the moment helping guide us through these times. It's getting a bit hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Okay. It's starting to burn up. I should have put the fan on. I'm still getting used to how the fans work too. And we closed up all the windows last night because there was a massive storm, like a massive storm. Let's just see if I can put that fan on. Okay. Okay, this one's fallen out. Nonsense. Okay, nonsense, and you are rare and free. Okay, so here we go. We have the logical mind saying nonsense. It's time to talk sense. There's our logical mind, right? Here's our intuitive mind. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. And this is the two personalities that we're dealing with inside all of us. It's when this one and this one agrees that it becomes our reality. So, yeah, it's pretty cool, actually. Nonsense. It's time to talk sense. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. And rare, what's rare? Something that steps outside the box and does something that's absolutely not in the program, right? Something that is different, something that creates, it even becomes the guide for those that want to create something even better in their life. And nonsense, time to talk sense. Come on, guys, we have to ground this stuff. How do we ground it? You can't just turn around and go, I'm going to ground something that's not really in existence, and it's not going to happen because my logical brain, my program, and this reality is not going to be conducive to it. So it really is an understanding and a bleeding through of the rare and free you into your logical mind, and have an understanding that we can expand through that. We can ground it, and when we ground it, we can expand. So we become more than what that limited. If it was just this, we will say stay stuck, because we'll see everything is nonsense until the majority have done it. And so you're stuck, and you're also reliant on the majority showing you the way. This is freedom, but it's in an etherical manner. It's in the ether, right? So it's not grounded. Yeah, good lesson for today, right? Okay. Hey, Katie, good to see you. Didn't get my notification. I did put up a community notice that said that I'll be live today. I usually am live. It's just that week that I was moving that I wasn't live. Look at this, rightness coming out. We're starting to become maturer in taking back our responsibility of who we are and the energies aligning with us. It's nice. Okay, does anyone want a free chat bar reading? Because I'm ready. I just felt like picking up one of my, these are crystal cards, and it come up with turquoise, wholeness. See, in these two cards with the left logical brain and the intuitive brain, they're our wholeness when they start working well together. They're our wholeness. So if anyone else is watching this and you know, we're going into the free chat bar reading, sometimes these free chat bar readings, when I do them, as for many more, if you hear it and you feel like it's conducive to your own energy, then please take that as a message for yourself. That's how I work. Okay, Snogat. I don't know how to say that. Shongut. I hope I'm saying it right. Let's start with you. See what's the energy for you. Slowing down came out for you. So stop pressuring yourself to do more. It's time to realize that just because you do actions and do more and more and more actions doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting anywhere. They're literally showing me the wheel spinning in the mud. And if we slow down, you know how a car gets caught in the mud. If you slow down, if they put it in a lower gear and they take their time, then it can get the grip and it can start moving. But when we're constantly racing around feeling like if we're not doing action, we don't feel good enough, which is what the program is, right? That's what the program's taught us to do and be. We're actually going around in circles and not getting anywhere. So they're asking you this week to try slowing down and trusting. Like this turtle has his home on his back. He has his home within him. He has his this is his home, is his physical body, just like we all do. And so there is something within you that's wanting to show you a better way, but the only way to get that, to retrieve that, is to slow down. Okay, sky imagination. Well, that just popped right out, Sky. The rebel is coming out for you. So the rebel is like understanding that you can be free and do what you can stand up for those issues that you really believe in and are passionate about. But constantly check in when you do this, that your energy is not it's not pushing to the point where you're losing your emotions around it, that you are still coming from passion, and that anything that isn't feeling right in your outside reality that you're wanting to shift, that you're coming from a place of integrity within yourself rather than like most people shy away from fear and they call it negativity and that sort of thing, and so they won't stand up for themselves. A rebel will just barge on through that, but they barge on through it with passion and desire and supporting themselves with a lot of oomph. It's only so-called negative when we decide we are victim to it, and then it becomes bigger than Ben Hur, and then we don't want anything to do with it, and then we're trying to find an easy way out, and we don't actually get anywhere. We become the mouse. We become victim to anyone else that's trying to control us, all that sort of stuff. And this is what we're shifting at the moment, and you're obviously one of the instigators that are pushing us into trusting your passion helps others trust theirs. Malcolm, we have possibilities coming up for you. So a beautiful eagle, understanding that when you are the observer of your reality, there's many different avenues that can come into your reality. It's only when we are a small ant on the ground that we only have a limited reality here. We don't even notice the eagle. We don't notice the sun. We don't notice the mountains. We become very tunnel vision in our own reality, and yet their reality is way more expansive. If they soar above and their consciousness left the ant and became the eagle, all of a sudden you see way more. Yes, you see things that like the eagle can come down and get the ant, but the ant can hide from the eagle now. So it's like finding out as the observer of your reality that you have way more possibilities and less fears too, because you have a fuller understanding of more than. You're expanding your reality. You're expanding it. So this week you might be looking at becoming the observer of something rather than a limited, stuck mind going, I want to see beyond this. maybe even ask the universe, I want to see beyond this, and then look for a sign in that. Yeah, like leveling up, they're telling me, leveling up. Lady Isabella, Lady Isabella, Lady Isabella. Okay, so we have guidance. So you definitely, how many times? 3 times this guidance card has come out in 3 different packs. We are really being guided through these times at the moment. And awareness of the illusion. And look at the guy behind him, like he's feeling limited and stuck in everything, and he's like pushing against that veil. Well, how do we get out of this? I'm scared, I'm stuck, I feel not so good with it. The awareness of self just becomes still. See, she's very still and happy and peaceful, and it just ends up the illusion of being fear and of being afraid and being stuck falls away, and she can see through that veil now. She understands that it was always her. It was always her to begin with, and her reality that created the illusion of being stuck. And you are guided through this lesson. Jules. What's coming up for Jules today or this week? Don't forget, I do channelings as well on Thursdays. So yeah, tune into that too. I had a week off, and then all of a sudden my views just dropped. It's like YouTube won't send it out. I'm like, oh, okay, 1 week off, and boom. Innocence. So I'm just going to be me and I might even do more because I keep getting messages even through the week. Might even do like some smaller lives or something. Anyways, innocence has come up for you, Jules, in reverse. So, and then there is laziness coming up too. So it's feeling with you that you are, like grappling in your mind of whether if you do nothing, where's the benefits in that? And they're trying to bring you back to being like a little kid again, and seeing the world or your reality through the eyes of wonder. And so you won't feel, oh, I'm chucking that away. That's interesting. You won't feel the resistance of feeling lazy anymore. Like a kid will go and go and go, excitement, adventure. Oh my God, wonder, curiosities. And then boom, they're asleep. And they don't have any qualms on what's right or wrong. And so how do adults react to that? They're allowed to have a sleep in the middle of the day. They're allowed to, because they're kids, right? Their reality is that, and so it becomes the reality of the adults supporting that the child is. It's only when the child grows up into becoming a teenager through the programming of school that it starts to deny itself and says that it has to be a robot all the time and do whatever's action is needed in the moment for somebody else, and because we've been taught to do that through the schooling and the educational system and programs. Okay, Cherie, they're asking me to get an angel card for you too. That's the top one. Oh, look at this divine guidance. Surrender and release, and creativity. So this week, like she's holding on to that vase, but the vase is leaking out anyway. And she's just allowing it to be that, just because it's an emotional release, and she's holding on to something and there's an emotional release with it. it actually will become lighter and lighter for her to hold. And so she's letting go of all that she thought she needed. She probably thought she needed that water for safety, for security, for everything in the future, and not trusting that more water, she'll come up to a stream later on, anyway. It wouldn't make any difference. So long as she loves who she is, then the guy will support her and give her the opportunity to show her where the water is and so forth. So there's a surrender and release with this, of having an understanding that if you let go of something, if it's meant for you, it will come back anyway. And if it wasn't, then who cares? Let it go. And then that's going to give you the opportunity to give more space in your mind to be creative, create more in your reality. They're showing me, take one corner in your house and make it beautiful. Take one place in your reality and just make that beautiful, and then you'll feel such a good release from the creativity that you've expanded into, that it'll be more of a lighter load to go through life like that, rather than holding on to something that is not really giving you happiness anymore. Yeah. Okay, so who else have we got? If I've missed someone, sorry. MK, and me. Sorry, it just flipped all the way to the end there. Oh, Lucy, it's your birthday too. Nice. MK. Moment to moment, living in the moment this week. Every time your mind starts tricking you into what if, tell it shh. I literally tell my thoughts to shh when I start feeling that tension. And they're telling me that if you start feeling your jaw tensing up, that's because you're living in the past or projecting into a future from the past. And so you start tensing up. So I'd say shush to your mind. Bring yourself to whatever you're doing, even if it's just dishes or whatever. Just feel the water, feel what's happening in the very moment that you are in. Even if you have to touch something to bring yourself to the moment, it's going to release a lot of stress from you. You can't hold up the world in your head. You can't heal everyone outside of yourself. The only person you can heal is yourself. And then you have a different perception of life. And then you take different choices. And then you see the world as a much better, beautifuler place. Okay. Let's do Lucy. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing it. Okay, Lucy. Oh, that just flew out without even trying. I like that. Are you kidding me? So you have the slowing down card as well. Oh, trying to keep everything up. We have consciousness that I flipped over as well. So slowing down is going to bring you to a understanding of your mind. Your mind, the grey in this deck means the mind cards. It's everything to do with how to create using your mind as well. So consciousness is the wholeness of intuitive and mind as well. It's everything. So they're asking you to slow down in your life so that you can have a better understanding of your mind and what it actually does in your reality, how it can grasp onto something and feel like you need to do the action to it. If you feel you need to do some action in the future, just write it down. Set a timer on your phone or something for it, because you need to learn to also control the mind and let go of it enough to have the space for your reality to become more consciously aware. It's pretty in-depth. It's a pretty in-depth one, that one. But even though it's your birthday and celebrations are all for you, right? And thank you for being here another year. The world's always a better place with you in it. So I think they're like giving me messages to say that. Okay. Who else have we got? We have Snezana. Snezana. I didn't forget you. Snezana. Yeah, you have the mind as well. So there's a lot of mind going on at the moment because we're starting to have better understanding of how the busy mind and all that is not helping us in these new energies anymore. It's really just taking us around in circles, and it's been very obvious with these new frequencies, that very obvious how we just keep going around in circles. When we keep playing it around in our minds, we literally create that reality outside of ourselves. So if you can imagine what's going on in your head is what's creating out what you're creating outside yourself. Oh my God, that just doesn't feel right, eh? So that's why we have to learn to control our mind, and we can do that through different exercises of either, like I said, be quiet mind, and bringing ourselves into the moment. We can put a default image in there, which I do talk about in my other podcasts and stuff like that, YouTube's. So yeah, I'm going to also bring up the 4 was on the bottom for you too. So I want you to take a leap of faith out of the mind, take a leap of faith into the living in the moment. Yeah, I'm going to definitely, I'm settling now in a new home, but I'm definitely going to do some Zooms where if you go on my website and become a member, there's going to be opportunities coming up where we can all get together and then start building a community through Zooms and actually see each other and that sort of thing. I really like to do that. Hey, Kelly, good to see you. Okay, who else have we got here? Chat reading last time was so spot on. Oh, that's so fantastic. Mark. Oh, Mark. So we have an understanding for you, Mark, that the cage was never closed, that you were always at the it's almost like they're showing me you've always been at the threshold of going towards something that's more brilliant for you, and a threshold of safetyness. But it's only when you release the safety of the cage that will become, the brilliantness that you become. But do this with respect of your logical mind as well. Do it with respect of your logical mind. Don't do it forgetting about logic. Not that I don't think you would, because you're not the sort of person. I have done a reading for you, Mark, a while ago now. But still, when we take a leap of faith into something completely different, we tend to go all that way or all that way. And just be aware of that too. Anyways, Kelly, you have rebirth. This is coming up. This card keeps coming up in my head for the whole of humanity. And it's constant. We really had, you are really starting to become this innocent, playful child. It's rebirthing into something new. And realizing the roar of the lion was only in protection of itself to be bigger than that. But it's the innocent child that has more strength than even the lion, because the innocent child will play the flute and calm the lion. So he doesn't need to look, have the fierce teeth and have the protection. It's just a vulnerable person, right? In charge of creating its reality and having a fuller understanding of itself as source energy going on an adventure. But we are definitely, many humanities have been the sleepy camel. We've gone through the stage of the sleepy camel. We're coming into the roaring lion, like the consciousness of humanity. And now some of us are starting to understand that even through the roaring lion, the vulnerable innocence of ourselves as creator doesn't even need the protection of the teeth of the lion. So there's something new coming for you that you're being rebirthed into, a different understanding of your reality, and that's going to help you through they're even telling me become a guide for humanity as well. Okay. My client and I are watching while I do her hair. Cherie, that's so cool. Hello, client. That's so cool. Okay, who else do we have? Free speech. Free speech. Free speech, free speech, free speech. Free speech. So you have the adventure. How beautiful is that? You're seeking a new adventure, and so it will be. It is your choice, and you can take any path now that you desire, so long as you are coming from supporting who you are and what you really, really want to go. Doesn't mean to say that when you go through the adventure that you don't trip up over a rock or something like that and go, oh, but you have a better understanding that life is an adventure now. And so it becomes more exciting and more colorful. And even those moments that are whoopsie moments, so to speak, where you've allowed a negative energy or a vulnerable energy, victimized energy to dictate your next step, doesn't mean that the step after has to be like that. So you become more freer within yourself, and realizing that you have absolute control of what you desire and where you want to go. So there is also, they're telling me, a new adventure coming your way. It's like you are becoming that within yourself, and so a new adventure is magnetizing to you. And so you might end up finding that someone wants to go on a trip, or you want to go on a trip somewhere, actually physically go on an adventure, move house, move into a relationship that's conducive, new friendships or whatever. So it's something new coming your way for sure. Nice. Okay. Elizabeth. Who else have we got here? Oh my gosh, there's heaps more than I thought. Okay, Elizabeth. Huh. They're bringing me to this child that I knew that was called Elizabeth, and she was very vulnerable and scared, even though she was a bigger girl. She let rebirth come out again. You're kidding me, right? Like it literally flipped up. But they're showing me this little girl that I met years and years ago. Actually, there's two girls. It doesn't matter. They're bringing me up to this story where this little girl was really vulnerable. Her mum was like, I don't know what to do with her. She wouldn't go on a playground or anything without her support. She would wait till all the other kids left. She kept tripping over. She was just feeling, an anxious child. And the mother asked me to help her. This is like 15 years ago, probably 20 years ago now. And the mother asked me to help her, and I went in the car and just went, please tell me how I can help my friend and her daughter. And the message I got was to tell the mother, not the child, that she has to change her thought pattern. So the mother had to change her thought pattern of, my child is strong enough to stand on her own 2 feet. So I said, don't say anything to your child. I want you to start repeating to yourself, I am strong enough to stand on my own 2 feet, and just keep doing that over and over again. So within 2 weeks, with the mum and dad doing that, the child had completely changed, because she was reflecting, or empathically reflecting, what her mum says. And what they're bringing that up for me, for you, is that you are a high empath, and so be careful that you are not allowing others to tell you who you are. There's a rebirth coming for you, that you're going to start expanding into something completely different. And this is the understanding that it's your gift to be empathic, rather than a vulnerable, it's a gift rather than a curse. And the gift is that you get to know who you are quicker than they will, because of the empathic abilities that you have, because you have to do the internal work. It's always reflected back at you through everybody else very quickly. Yeah. So thank you, Callie. Your message makes so much sense. Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh, thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate. Okay, let's see one. Narc, what's my next lesson in ascension? Next lesson in ascension. Oh, they're telling me just let it all go, because does there have to be always a lesson? Can the lesson be that you enjoy and be happy? How does that feel for you to be happy? New vision. You got the card of new vision coming in. So while I was shuffling, though, they were saying, it's important for you to have a better understanding in happiness and what that means to you. Happiness. Sometimes when we've been so entrenched, programmed to be in constant survival mode and fear and all that sort of stuff that comes up, when we start to actually create the reality that we want, it's like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle this. And you start to bring in issues again. Get used to being happy is your next lesson. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Okay. Well, guys, I think I have to leave it here because I have a reading straight after this anyway. If anyone wants a reading with me, then just go down below. There's my website, and on my website is Intuitive Counseling. And that's where I do readings, channeled messages come through and everything. So if you want a reading, go on that site and book me. I'm available now that I have moved into my beautiful new home with my beautiful new man and my beautiful new family, and all my dreams coming true. So love you guys heaps until next week. And don't forget, Thursday, I'm going to be channeling, and there's a chat bar open. So if you have any questions, think up questions. especially to do with ascension, raising our vibration, humanity's collective, where we're going to go from here, what it looks like on the other side, connections with ETs and beings, all that sort of stuff. I love, well, my team and I love talking about the new earth, where we're actually, to me, it's a new earth, but it all comes from within us and we're grounding it. So love you guys heaps. Until next time. Bye.